Hello and welcome to this video. We were continuing the first chapter of your geography, that is resources and development. In last video we discussed up to the process of resource making, and in this video we will discuss about the classification of resources. Broadly, the resources are classified as natural resource and human resource. And further, the human resource is classified on the basis of structure and institutions and quality and quantity. At the same time, the natural resource is classified as renewable resource and non-renewable resources. The renewable resource further classified as continuous or flow resource and biological resource. Then the biological resource further classified as natural vegetation and wildlife. The non-renewable resource further classified as recyclable and non-recyclable resources. Resources can be classified in the following ways. First, on the basis of origin, it is classified as biotic and abiotic resources. On the basis of exhaustibility, it is classified as renewable and non-renewable resources. On the basis of ownership, it is classified as individual, community, national, and international resources. And on the basis of status of development, it is classified as potential, developed, stock, and reserved resources. Now we will discuss about each category of resources in detail. First, on the basis of origin. So, on the basis of origin, resources are classified as biotic resources and abiotic resources. First, we will discuss about the biotic resources. Biotic resources are those resources which are obtained from biosphere first, and second, these resources have life such as human beings, flora, fauna, fisheries, livestock, etc. Flora means the whole plant kingdom and fauna means the whole animal kingdom. So flora includes the variation from algae to big trees, and fauna includes microorganisms to large size animals like elephant, dinosaurs, and any other. So biotic resource include all the form of resources that has life. In total, we can say that biotic resources include all the floras and faunas. Then abiotic resources. Abiotic resources include all those things which are composed of non-living things like air or atmosphere, water, sunlight, soil, etc. Then, resources are also classified on the basis of their exhaustibility. Exhaustibility means the chance of running out. So, on the basis of exhaustibility, resources are classified as renewable resources and non renewable resources. Let's discuss about renewable resources. Renewable resources are those resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical, or mechanical processes. The renewable resources are also called replenishable resources, which can be renewed, which can be replenished. The renewable resources can be reused or recycled. For example, solar energy, wind energy, water, forest, wildlife, etc., which can get renewed over time. Now come to non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources means those resources which cannot get renewed or which resources can get exhausted over a long period of time. Some characteristics of non-renewable resources are: first, these occur over a very long geological time. Well, the meaning of geological time is each geological time period comprises millions and millions years. So, on an overall meaning, geological time or geological period means a period of millions of years. So, basically, the non-renewable resources take a very long period of time to get formed. These resources takes millions of years in their formation. So a non-renewable resource need much long period of time to get formed. Some of the resources like metals are recyclable and some like fossil fuels cannot be recycled and get exhausted with their use. Some example of non-renewable resources are oil, nuclear energy, gases, coal, etc. Where oil, coal, gas, these are fossil fuel. So non-renewable resources like fossil fuels cannot be recycled and get exhausted with their uses. Now let's discuss about the classification of resource on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, resources are classified into four different categories, that is individual resource, community resource, national resource and international resource. First, we will discuss about individual resources. Individual resources are those resources which are owned privately by individual. For example, hotels, villas, house, cars, bikes, cycles, jewelries, house, any kind of individual possession are known as individual resources. That means individual resource can satisfy the need of human being but not of any community. For example, your house is your house. Your house serves the purpose to protect you from all the variety of seasons, but it will serve only you and not the whole community. Not any other person can use your house for any kind of purpose, right? So those kind of resources are known as individual resource, where it is possessed by a single individual or privately by a group of individual. Next is community owned resources. Community owned resources means which are accessible to all the member of a community. For example, grazing grounds, burial grounds, village ponds, etc. And as you can see in this picture, like your schools, medicals, roads, playground, parks, community halls, these all are example of community owned resources. Next is national resources. Technically, all the resources belonged to the nation is known as national resources. For example, here you can see in the picture, these all are historical monuments of certain countries and that is their national resources. Except these historical monuments, all the minerals, water resources, forests, wildlife, land that comes within the political boundary or oceanic area up to 12 nautical mile from the coast termed as territorial water and resource therein belong to the nation. Like anything, whether it's human resource or human made resource or a natural resource that found within the political boundary of a country, but those resources which are found in the ocean, if that comes within 12 nautical mile from the land boundary of that country, 12 nautical mile is equal to 22.2 kilometer. So any resource found within the ocean bodies, if it comes within 12 nautical mile range of the land boundary of any country, then it is also called that particular nation's resource or national resource. On the basis of ownership, international resource is one type of resource. What kind of resources are called international resources? There are international institutions which regulate some resources. So there are some international bodies which are formed in order to manage the international resources. The oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zone belong to open ocean, and no individual country can utilize this without the concurrence of international institutions. So beyond 200 nautical miles in the oceanic resource, whatever resource is found is called open resource or international resource, and no single country is permitted to use, or no single country is allowed to, or no single country can use that open resource or international resource without the permission or without the concurrence of international institutions. So in order to use international resources, any country has to take the prior permission of international organizations who are allotted to manage that international resources. Now, on the basis of status of development. On the basis of status of development, resources are further classified into several categories. First, potential resources. So, potential resources are those resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. Potential resources are those resources which technical know-how is known to human being but is not being used yet due to certain cultural or political reasons. Technical know-how means the technological accessibility, right? Where we know that how to utilize that resource. In last video we already discussed the meaning of technological accessibility, right? So potential resources are those resources which are available, their technical know-how is known, but yet it is not utilized to its full potentiality because of certain cultural or economical or political reason. For example, the western part of India, particularly Rajasthan and Gujarat, have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy. Because of its geographical location, because of its nearness to coastal area, Gujarat and Rajasthan have enormous potentiality of wind and solar energy development. Rajasthan particularly has high potential for the development of solar energy, and Gujarat, because it has coastal line, has high potentiality for development of wind energy. And the technical know-how of extracting solar energy and wind energy is already known to us, but so far these have not been developed properly. So far, these projects like wind project and solar energy project are not developed up to its full potentiality yet. Next is developed resources. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization are known as developed resources. So developed resource means those resources has been surveyed already. Well, survey is a step of development of resource. We will discuss about the steps those are involved in the planning of resources in further videos. Developed resources are those resources which are surveyed, and through that survey their quality and their quantity is known or is determined already. Their economical value has been decided. Their importance is known to human being. Their quality, their quantity, their qualitative and quantitative aspect is known to human being, is known as developed resources, which are already used by the human beings. The development of resources depend on technology and level of their feasibility. So the development of resource, or how a resource can be a developed resource, now it depends on the technology, right? Technical know-how is very important to transform a resource into more valuable resources. So the developed resource or the level of development of resources depend on the technical know-how or the technology and their level of feasibility. In last video, we already discussed about the three aspects of a resource. It has to be technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. So these all three factors together determine the level of development of a resource. Next is stock resources. Stock resource means the materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access these. Stock resource is a kind of resource which technical know-how is yet not known to the humankind. So there is a difference between potential resource and stock resource. Potential resource have the potentiality to develop into a resource and their technical know-how is known, but due to certain other reasons they are not yet being utilized to their full potentiality. Whereas stock resource also have the potentiality to become a valuable resource, but it is not yet used because their technical know-how is not known yet. So in potential resource we have the technical know-how, whereas in stock resource we do not have the technical know-how. For example, water is a compound of two gases of hydrogen and oxygen. The formula of water is H2O. Hydrogen can be used as a rich source of energy, but we do not have advanced technical know-how to use it for this purpose. So if we split the molecular bonding, if we separate the hydrogen and oxygen gas separately, we can extract hydrogen gases from water, which can be a great source of energy, but we don't have such technological development yet through which we can fetch hydrogen from water. So here the hydrogen present in water is an example of stock resource. Reserve resources. Well, reserve resources are the subset of the stock resource which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how, but their use has not been started. This can be used for meeting future requirement. Reserve resource means we know the technical know-how or we have the technological accessibility to harvest that resource or to use that resource, but we are not using that purposefully because we are reserving that amount of resource for future generation, for our upcoming generation. Like you have heard, minimum you have heard about reserve forests, means we know that in what different ways a forest serve human needs. We can extract woods, resins, lax, gum, and many more things from forest. We know that. But the human interference or the human penetration to reserve forest are mostly banned in most part of the country. That means no one is allowed to penetrate to the reserve resources to fulfill their need. That means we know its potentiality, we know the technology, but we purposefully avoiding it or we purposefully not using it in order to reserve it or in order to conserve it for the future generation. Those kind of resources are known as reserve resources. For example, reserve forest. The other example is river water. River water can be used for generating hydroelectricity, right? We know the technology. There are several projects through which we harvest hydroelectricity, like Hirakud power plant, Chiplima power plant, Indravati power plant. These all are the technical know-how through which we know that we can generate electricity from the water sources. But presently, it is being utilized only to a limited extent. But still in 21st century, we are not extracting hydroelectricity to its full potential. still we are relying on thermal power plants, thermal electricity. Why? Because the water in the dams, forests, etc. is reserve which can be used in future generation. And here we are reserving the source for future generation, because water is a non-exhaustible source of energy, whereas in thermal power plants, coal and other fossil fuel kind of things are used to generate electricity, which are exhaustible source of energy. So we are conserving the non-exhaustible source of energies for our future generation, or the clean source of energy for the future generation. So let's summarize the classification of resources. Resources are classified on the basis of their origin, that is biotic and abiotic resources, on the basis of their exhaustibility, that is renewable and non-renewable resources, on the basis of their ownership, that is individual, community, national and international resources, and on the basis of their status of development, that is potential, developed, stock and reserve resources. That's all about this video. Thank you.